Thank you for joining the Author Spotlight Show. My name is Gail Watson, President and CEO of Women Speakers Association. As part of running a global community in 120 countries, it is my privilege that I get to connect and have conversations with women from around the world doing amazing work. It's an important time for women to step up into finding and owning their voice, and it's even more exciting when we see her put those words down on paper into a book so it's easily shared. Today's guest is a very special woman. She is someone that you need to know. She is three-time international best-selling author. Please welcome Jeannine Rivers Colburn. Welcome to the show.
Hey, glad to be here.
Super great to have you here. You look amazing.
Thank you.
And very excited to see you as co-author in Voices of the 21st Century. And I want to dive right into your story because your story is big. And I mean, you're talking about your life. You share a very personal journey in this story. And I believe that your father has a significant impact about this story.
Yes, he does.
Okay. So please share with us, what's inspired you to share this.
Well, in the explosion of the Black Lives Matter movement, I found myself watching the media, watching the interviews, and everyone talking about equality and how Black people as a whole have not been treated properly and how they're still going through the same things that they did in the 60s. And as I was watching everything that was going on around me, I found myself that I really couldn't relate. I didn't comprehend what was going on. And it really made me feel like, okay, Jeannine, why aren't you able to understand what everyone around you is going through? So that is at the point that I went and spoke to my dad, who is 87 years old. And he said these words to me. And I was like, He said, I didn't raise you to see color. He said, I raised you to see that you were a human being and that you could have anything in life that you wanted if you worked hard for it. He said, if you reaped good fruit and strived to do your best, then you would have the results of it. And I thought about that. And then I realized, me and him talked, he said, I really didn't talk about Black history in the house. And he said, I really didn't talk about growing up in the inner city because I didn't deem it important. And so I said, okay. So when I thought about it, I grew up in a predominantly white environment. The school that I went was probably 10% Black. I lived in a predominantly white neighborhood, and the congregation we went to was predominantly white. So all my friends were white. My whole world consisted of white people, hardly no Black people. So it really bothered me. And I didn't know what to do about it. But then what started happening is, in the wake of everything that was going on, everything people felt that it was okay for them to really let out how they felt. You have some people that they still feel about Black people the way they did in the 60s. And they felt okay to just, let me really let you know how I feel. So with all the rioting and all the boarding up of different businesses, I decided that I would go grocery shopping. And the place that I had normally went grocery shopping at had been boarded up due to riots, and they opened back up. When I walked in there, it was like, oh my God. And they were all looking, and the manager started following me around. Are you finding everything okay? And I'm like, yeah. I was like not getting it at first. And then it dawned on me. They were not quite sure why I was there. And then I had another altercation where I went somewhere that I normally go, and the person was really rude to me. This is a person that I see all the time. Gail, it was at that time I suddenly realized I'm Black. I get this now. I get this now. And I began to embrace it. And I'm like, wow, my Black is beautiful. And so that's where I got that from. I'm like, okay. So that's why the title of my chapter is My Black is Beautiful, because for once I'm human, but I'm Black.
Wow, that
I
is
know.
such a powerful, powerful story. And
Yes. Yes.
your father's a remarkable man for how
Right.
he, you know, just had you really focus in and believing in who you are and that you can do and be anything that you want to
Right.
be.
Right.
Tell me, as someone is reading this story, My Black is Beautiful, what do you want them to get out of it?
I want them to understand that my experience, I'm not the only one with this experience, and that they cannot assume that just because you're Black, that you come from, everyone gets their interpretation from the media, and you can't take that interpretation and put that view on everyone, not just with the Black race, with everything. So I guess I want people to know my story, and I want people to understand that we're still fighting, Black people are still fighting for the same things they did in the 60s. And that's what my father was very disappointed about. He said, I'm seeing the same things that I did in the 60s. And here we are in 2020, and we're going through the same thing. And for once, I understand.
Do
Right.
you foresee change coming our way?
I sometimes I think about that. And from what I can see, um, with the marches and everything that's going on, I'm seeing a generation of both Black and white people that are saying, okay, we're tired of this. So in the marches, and I did do the Black Lives Matter marches, and there were a lot of young white people there, older white people, that they're fed up too. They're making a stand more than they did before. So I believe that I may not see it in my generation, but I think it will get better. I really, really, really do.
I love that. That's good news. And I notice it as well as communities are coming together, and I see our youth today. They
Yes.
just have a different attitude towards um, a lot of our communities, and they're just a lot more open and they're a lot more welcoming. You know,
Yeah.
but not saying that there isn't a lot of work to do, but absolutely that we're on these right roads. Okay, so you are not only just a three-time international best-selling author, but you are a mental health advocate, a motivator, and a musician.
Yes.
Let's dive a little bit into about what you do.
Well, I'm really passionate about mental health, really, really passionate, because you have so many people that are struggling. And as a suicide attempt survivor, I still deal with the same things that I did when I was 21, those same emotions. And you have so many people that are feeling so much doom and gloom that I try to get in there. I'm a facilitator. I facilitate groups through Prevent Suicide for suicide survivors or people that are still struggling, people that still want to. So I just have a passion to help people. I want people to be their best. So I want to see them be whole. So, from my experiences, I want to teach them that if I can do it, guess what? You can too, in your own way.
That's great. That's super great. So I'm thinking about your book. We need to get a copy of your book.
Yes.
So where can we get a copy of your book?
You will be able to get a copy of my book on my website, www.JeannineRivers.com. You'll be able to go there. Not only will you be able to get, the new book, but all my voices books that I've done. But I can't wait to have the new one on there for you to be able to go out there and get it.
So perhaps a bundled package opportunity that.
Yes, yes, that's what I plan on doing. Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, great. So just a quick question about, if I'm sitting here listening to your story, I mean, who am I that I want to go pick up your story? Because I'm thinking of so many, I mean, we should all have a copy of this story and to share it.
Well, you want to I think everyone, every woman, every resilient woman, even those who are don't think they're resilient, when they hear all of the stories, because I'm not the only one in the book, when you hear all of the stories, it's going to be very inspiring. You're going to see women that are conquering the world. You're going to see women that are trying their best to climb the ladder and that are climbing the ladder. You're going to hear so many different stories of so many different women that are climbing the ladder of success, and you're going to hear their stories of how they got where they are. So, I mean, not just my story, but all the stories are just amazing. Truly
Beautiful.
amazing.
Beautiful. You have shared, I mean, I want to thank you, first of all, for being so open,
Thank
so
you.
raw, to be able to share, put these words down on paper. They're important. They are historic and they are life-changing for many. So I want to really thank you. It takes a lot of guts, courage to really own our truth, you know?
Yes, I
Um,
agree.
you're amazing. You do so much. Um, what would you like to leave us with today as your words of wisdom?
My words of wisdom is I want everyone to think about what part they are going to play in making this world a better place. What part are they going to play in equality? And I want people to examine themselves and their thoughts and their way of thinking and open up their minds to something new, because we all are just bits and pieces of making this world a better place. So what are you going to do to stop um, equality and race issues in this world? That is my question.
You're awesome. You're amazing. I
Thank
love you.
you. I love you,
Um,
Gail.
so happy to be part of this with you. And I want to thank you again.
You're welcome. You're
I'd
welcome.
also like to thank everyone who joined us today. Definitely go pick up a copy of Jeannine's book. You can get it from her website. If you're following along on social media, direct message her, inbox her to get a copy. It's a great gift for yourself, but also to share with others. This is how we make a difference. It could be that one little simple thing to do to take action to help make a difference. And that's what I love what you said there. If we all just do one little thing, come together, if we all do that, what happens? So
Yes. Yeah.
excellent. All right. So thank you again for joining us. And wherever you are in this world, we wish you a great day. Thank you.